For over 400 videos on this channel, we never said a word, just sounds. Fire crackling, pots and pans, kids laughing in the snow, a river running somewhere in the distance. And you watched. Millions of you watched. You wrote thousands of comments. Questions mostly. Who are these people? Where is this place? How do they live like this in 2026? Why doesn't she smile? Do the kids go to school? Is there electricity? Do they know we exist? So today, we're trying something different. We're gonna talk. For the first time ever, we're gonna answer your questions. We're gonna tell you the real story behind what you've been watching all this time. If this isn't your thing, if you came here for the quiet, that's totally fine. We got 400 silent videos on the main channel. Every one of them is waiting for you. No voice, just life happening. But if you want to go deeper, if you've been watching this family for months or even years, and you want to know who they really are, then grab your coffee, sit back, watch the footage, and let me tell you about a place called Samakova. Let me start with something basic. How we actually get to this place. Because nothing about it is easy. You start in a city called Chernivtsi, Western Ukraine. Real city. Coffee shops, a university, old Austrian buildings. Civilization. From there you drive about 2 hours into the mountains. The road gets worse every mile. Eventually you hit a village called Khrystyna, and that's where the fun starts. From Khrystyna, you need a four-wheel drive. Not optional, required. The road turns into rocks and mud and stream crossings. And I'm not messing with you when I say you gotta cross the same mountain stream more than 10 times to get to Samakova. Back and forth, back and forth. Guys who've hiked all over the Carpathians say they've never seen anything like it anywhere. Once you're past the crossings, the village spreads out across the mountainsides. But don't picture a village the way you'd think of one back home. There's no main street, no houses lined up next to each other. People live on separate hills, separate ridges, scattered all over the slopes. Some neighbors are miles apart. No paved roads between houses. You walk, you ride a horse, or you just don't go. Our camera crew jokes that the 3 miles from the valley to the first houses feels like 15. Carrying gear. Crossing that stream 10 times. Climbing uphill in mud. Yeah, feels like 15. Samakova sits at about 2,600 feet in the Carpathian Mountains of Ukraine. Population, somewhere around 600 or 700 people. Nearest real town is 20 miles away by road. On foot, cutting through the mountains, locals make it in about 3 hours. On a clear day, you can see one of the most famous peaks in the Ukrainian Carpathians, right from the village. Just sitting there, like a painting in your window. Changes color every morning. But here's what blew my mind the first time I learned it. This village was founded around 1580, almost 450 years ago. And the people who started it were runaways. Back then, this whole region was under feudal control. Peasants worked the land, paid taxes to lords, had zero freedom. But some of them decided they'd had enough, packed up everything they owned and walked straight into the thickest, most unreachable forests in these mountains. Found this spot, high up, surrounded by peaks, completely hidden. And they lived free. No lords, no taxes, no government. For almost 200 years, nobody in any capital city even knew they were up there. That changed in 1779, when the Austrian Empire sent people to count heads in the mountains. Found Samakova. Over 100 people living up there off the grid before off the grid was even a thing. And of course, first thing any government does, taxes. Here's the part that really gets me. Over the next 450 years, this tiny mountain village was part of 7 different countries. 7. Think about that for a second. Most of us live our whole lives under one flag. These people have seen 7. And through every single one of them, they stayed put. Kept raising cattle, kept cutting timber, kept cooking over fire the way their great-great-great-grandparents did. They're called Hutsuls, the mountain people of the Carpathians. Still here, Still doing it.
Навіть пісня я така, без ключа. Давай я не пробую.
Now let me tell you about the family you've been watching. Her name is Svitlana. She's 28. His name is Dmytro, 37. They have 5 kids. Khrystyna is the oldest. She's 11. Zhenya is 9. She's the second girl. Ivan is 6. Oleksiy is 4. And the littlest guy, Matviy, 2.5. 5 kids on a mountainside. Almost no electricity, no internet, no gas delivery in winter. This ain't a reality show. This is just Tuesday for them. A lot of you Americans especially keep asking about the kitchen. Why is it in a separate building? This is actually a traditional Carpathian thing. When you're cooking on a wood-burning stove inside a wooden house, especially in winter when everything's bone dry, the fire risk is serious. Keeping the kitchen separate keeps the family safe. Also keeps the smoke and heat out of where the kids sleep. It's practical. People here have been doing it this way for hundreds of years. They do have a gas stove, modern one. But here's the deal. Gas comes in cylinders that gotta be hauled up the mountain. In winter, when the road basically doesn't exist, you can't get those cylinders up there. So the gas stove works great when there's gas. Rest of the time, it's wood. Always wood. Dmytro makes sure there's plenty. Speaking of Dmytro, this guy works in the forest, logging. Goes out there for 2, sometimes 3 weeks straight. Sleeps in the wilderness. Cuts timber with hand tools. This is one of the oldest trades in the Carpathians. Men have been doing this exact same thing here for centuries. It's hard, physical, dangerous, and it's how he puts food on the table. When he comes home, there's always a pile of work waiting. Fix the roof, mend a fence, split more firewood. This man does not sit down. Now here's something that changed this family's life. For years, Svitlana and Dmytro hauled water from a mountain spring. Every single day. Miles of walking. Carrying heavy containers back up the hill. Rain or shine. Summer and winter. With 5 kids. Last year, with support from this channel and a professional crew, we ran miles of pipe from a mountain source, put in pumps, connected running water straight to their home. If you've always had a faucet in your house, maybe that don't sound like a big deal. But think about carrying every single drop of water your family of 7 needs, by hand, uphill, every day of your life. Then imagine turning on a tap for the first time. That's what happened. Now, a lot of you have asked about Svitlana, especially the women watching from the States. Why doesn't she smile more? Is she okay? Is she unhappy? Let me clear that up right now. Svitlana is not unhappy. This is just who she is. She's focused. She's no nonsense. She's feeding and running a household of 7 people on a mountain with almost no modern anything. She's not performing for a camera. She's living her life. She smiles when she smiles. She works when she works. And she does both with a kind of quiet, rock-solid strength that honestly, most of us have forgotten even exists. I think that's exactly why y'all can't stop watching her. This village has secrets, real ones. There's a cave near Samakova called the Bilkinets Cave, and nobody fully knows what's down there. Local legends say the tunnels run about 10 miles underground, all the way to another village on the other side of the mountain. Most of the passages have collapsed. Centuries of rockfall. But here's what we do know. On the walls of those tunnels, there are inscriptions in Latin. At the entrance, people have found Roman coins. Same type found at other archaeological digs in this part of the Carpathians. In 1970, a college kid from the nearest city went down into this cave. Got about a mile deep. Down there in the pitch dark, he found a human skeleton. Got spooked. Turned around. Told people what he saw. Collapsed tunnels, Latin writing on the walls, a skeleton. And here's the thing. Nobody ever went back. Not during the Soviet era, not after independence, not in over 50 years. That cave is still sitting there, unexplored, still holding whatever it's been hiding. Could be centuries old, could be thousands of years. I don't know about you, but that keeps me up at night. Outlaws hid in that cave back in the 1700s. Resistance fighters used it in the 1940s. It's been a hideout for people running from something for as long as anyone around here can remember. The school in Samakova has its own story. First school here opened during Austrian times, in somebody's house. Teaching was in Ukrainian and German. Then Romania took over after World War I, and everything flipped. Romanian only. Kids got beaten with sticks for speaking their own language. Even on the playground. Even whispering to a buddy. Imagine being 6 years old and getting hit for talking in the only language you know. Today it's a Ukrainian school. Small, basic, down in the valley. Every kid from every mountainside home walks there. Some walk 3 miles, some walk 4, some almost 6, through snow, through mud, through whatever the Carpathians throw at them that morning. Younger kids sometimes ride horses. Now here's something that might surprise you. The kids have smartphones. Dmytro and Svitlana got them phones. But there's no cell signal up on that mountain. No internet whatsoever. To catch a bar, you'd literally have to climb a tree. Dead serious. When we're up there filming, satellite internet is the only thing that works. So the phones just sit there. Useless. And the kids play outside instead. Build stuff. Chase each other through the meadows. Help their parents. Some of you have said these kids look happier than American kids with unlimited screen time and a $100 iPad. I think you might be right about that. Electricity. Let me clear this up because everybody asks. Technically, Samakova is connected to the power grid. On paper, they got electricity. In reality, it's almost never on. Constant outages, sometimes days with no power. Nobody's in a rush to fix power lines running to a handful of houses an hour's hike from the nearest road. So the family lives mostly without it. No reliable fridge. Light comes from the stove, from candles, from oil lamps. Sounds like the 1700s, right? But you've watched 400 videos of it. You've seen it work. It works because these people don't need most of what we think we need. There was a wooden church here too. Beautiful old thing. On the night of January 30th, 2022, it burned to the ground, totally destroyed. The only footage of what it looked like before was shot by a crew that happened to pass through 5 months earlier. Without that random visit, there'd be zero record this church ever existed. In the music, this village produced one of the region's most famous folk musicians. A lyrnik, which is basically a traveling musician who played a string instrument called a lyra, born right here on a little homestead. These guys weren't just musicians. They carried Ukrainian culture from village to village. Songs about freedom, history, faith. That tradition went from the 1500s all the way to the 1930s. 400 years of music born in a place most people can't find on a map. I gotta tell you one more thing. A lot of young men from this village and these mountains went to defend their country. The school in Samakova now has a memorial plaque on its wall. It honors a former student named Herb-crusted. He grew up right here, loved soccer, loved fixing engines, helped his parents on the farm. He didn't come home. His story goes back generations. His great-grandparents were shipped off to Siberia in 1945. Never came back. 80 years later, their great-grandson gave his life for the same land they were taken from. I'm not telling you this to get political. I'm telling you because it's part of the truth of this place.
Я жду.
Христиночка, дай мені оцет.
То ні.
Там буде гія.
Ти вже не бачиш.
Дай собі.
Все.
I want to be real with you about something. Because you've asked, and you deserve a straight answer. Yes, the family gets a fair cut from the videos. Every view brings in ad revenue. A share of that goes directly to Svitlana and Dmytro. It's their life on screen. They should get paid for sharing it. But I also want you to understand what it costs to make these videos. Getting a crew up to Samakova ain't cheap. Four-wheel drive trucks, satellite internet, camera gear, travel, lodging, editing, post-production. Every single expedition costs real money. The team that makes this happen works their butts off, and they deserve to get paid fairly too. So when you watch, when you subscribe, when you share this with your mom or your buddy at work, you're not just watching a video. You're directly helping a mountain family live a more stable life. That running water they got last year, that happened because millions of you hit play. I've been reading your comments, and man, some of them hit different. A woman from Colorado wrote that she wishes Svitlana could get new cookware and Dmytro could get better tools. Someone who's 66 said watching Svitlana cook reminds her she's not the last person on earth who still makes everything from scratch. A lady from Alaska said she grew up in a small Eskimo village, walked to school, hunted food, gathered firewood. Said she completely relates to this family. Halfway across the world, and the life is the same. There's a guy whose grandfather grew up in Lithuania. His grandma on the Russian-Polish border. They met in the States. He said these videos show him what their childhood might have been like. First time he could picture it. A grandma from Kentucky said this is exactly how she grew up. A family in Brazil watches together with their kids. Someone in Lebanon tunes in every single day. A dude in Uruguay checks for new uploads like clockwork. Viewers from India, Thailand, the Netherlands, France, Germany, South Korea. You're in all 50 states and over 100 countries. And somehow, watching a family on a Carpathian mountainside cook dinner over a wood stove brings all of you together. There's something happening here that's bigger than any of us. Bigger than language, bigger than borders, bigger than all the stuff that usually divides people. A lot of you asked if the family knows about you, if they read comments. Here's the truth. They know the channel exists. They know people watch. But they don't scroll through comments because there's no internet up there, remember? And honestly, even if there was, I think Svitlana would still be in the kitchen, and Dmytro would still be in the forest. But they should know. And I think this right here, this is a step toward making that happen. A bridge between your world and theirs. Some of you worry about them. Are they okay? Do they need help? Here's what I can tell you. These people are tough in a way most of us can barely imagine. They got each other. They got their land. They got their animals. The kids are healthy, curious, running around in the snow the way kids are supposed to. And now, because of you, they got a little more stability than they ever had before. That matters. You did that, not us, you.
Так, кладемо бараборку. Ну, принеси мені той патичок сюди.
Я.
Барячок, Олекс. Давай.
So that's Samakova, a village started by people who ran away from everything just to be free. So far up in the mountains that the world forgot about him for 200 years. A place where a cave holds Roman coins and a human skeleton, and nobody's ever gone back to look. Where kids walk 4 miles through snow to get to school. Where a church burned down in the middle of the night and only exists now because some camera guys randomly stopped by 5 months before. A place where a 28-year-old woman feeds a family of 7 3 times a day over a wood fire with cast iron pots. And doesn't need a single word from anybody to keep going. We got dozens of families like this across the Carpathian Mountains, dozens of villages, hundreds of stories we haven't told yet. If you want to hear more, smash that subscribe button right now. Hit the bell so you don't miss the next one. And do me a favor, drop a comment. Tell me what part of this story hit you the hardest. Tell me what questions you still got. What do you want to know about this family, about this village, about how people live up here? We read every single comment, and we're building the next episodes around what you ask. If you know somebody who needs to see this, someone who's been feeling disconnected, someone who's forgot what simple living looks like, share this video with them. Send it to your mom, your grandma, your buddy who thinks he's got it rough. Every share, every subscribe, every comment directly changes this family's life. That's not a figure of speech. That's just how it works. And if you'd rather have the quiet, we got 400 videos with no voice at all. Pure life. They're all right there on the main channel. Thanks for watching. Thanks for giving a damn about people you never met, on a mountain you never climbed, in a country you might never visit. Now put your phone down, pour yourself something warm, and just soak it in. From here on out, no more words, just the Carpathians.
Буде допомагати робити зараз.
Мам, можна я? Да. Барабульку.
Нічого. Таку би їхала.
Ні, але скажіть, яку? Феррарі, Мерседес. Мам, ти мені ложечку. Я хочу.
Ручки ти ми.
Добре, але ти не перемішуй, будь ласка.
Це довго буде. Хватить?
А одну ложку. Ой, як прикольно. Ой, тримаємо.
Не спіши.
Витирати руки, мам.
Все, біжи, мої ручки.
Можна? Я попробую. Мам, можна я попробую?
Пробуй. Все.
Гаряче.
Не тряси так дуже.
Прилипло. Знаєш як?
Дякую.
Але як? Я питаю тебе. Так називаються барабольні пельмені. Бараболі пельмені.
Погнай.
А як ліпешки треба зарити? Мамо, я хочу. А можна ми теж будемо ліпити ліпешки? Треба руки гайно. Я тісто взяла. Тако. Ви за мамою. Я не роблю.
То треба там ще кусочок докласти.
Добре? О, мама мою взяла. Мам, допоможете, що ж велике тісто. Добре.
тут мені шкода. Дивіться, що ви тут наробите. Так, Женька, ну все. Давайте, мама, це доробить сама, добре?
Я хоч зразу роблю. Так.
Тут багато.
Мамо, хто таку маленьку ліпошку робить?
Мама.
Мамо, ти це зробила? Да. Отаку.
Як гарно пахне. Вкусно.
Мама, можна понюхати? Вау. Можна ми вже один попробуємо?
Зараз ще.
Я
Гаряче.
там закину.
Ні, бо там олійка може.
Ой, я теж так зараз зроблю. Чому ми Женя цей пробуємо? Бо
Ні, сипте зверху муки.
то Женя.
Вони не смачні будуть від муки.
Побільше муки тоді. Можна я попробую?
Привет.
Що вам сказали?
Чего, привет.
Все, заходіть їсти. М'яско вам?
Да.
Дати вам чуть-чуть барабулі тут трошки до м'яска.
Бабулька.
Хто хоче барабульки, це м'яско, барабульки, то скажете.
Вау, які красиві. Це мама просто шеф-повар. Мам, така тату. Ні, то витікає вода, і це такі смачні.
Сік, на.
І це такі смачні.
Сік, на.
Так от падячки. Падячки. О. Не йдеш. Тепер тунятку. Кобила. Ага, забагато приправ у барабу. А у м'ясі багато приправи? Ні, там взагалі приправа. Вона там не буде їсти. Буде багато приправи.
Смачного.
Дякую.
Що ти будеш? Що на говенку? То ж тобі є вода.
Мені там подобається м'ясо. І оце пюрешка. Дай минуту. Дай. Я ж оце, що я взяла. Куда? Я ще хочу купити.
Мочені.
Це моя. Бідний тато. Одужай так. У тебе було 100